Hello people of the verse and welcome to the channel. It's the Eradicator here with a brand new video talking about the things that need to change in Star Citizen, unfortunately. And you know, right now we are having Star Citizen for 3.13.0 in the PTU, and there are a lot of issues that need to be addressed. Some of them unfortunately don't seem to be mentioned in the patch reports, but that's what we'll be talking about in this video. Now before we do that, guys, of course a quick reminder about this month's giveaway. I'm giving away 2 Tumbril Cyclone empties, one for you guys, the subscriber of this channel, and one for also the Patreons and the supporters of the channel via the join button as well. All right, well, good luck to everyone out there. So what is going on here with Star Citizen 3.13? Well, the first thing that I need to mention here is the frame rates. Now, it's very interesting because this is something that I've been talking about to quite a few other people, including other content creators too. And I do notice, especially when they are live streaming, that sometimes their frames are doing very well, up to 60 frames per second. I have to say that this is not an experience that I have had in the game, unfortunately. If I can have 30 frames per second, sometimes 15 or even down 10 frames per second at Lorville, then that's actually quite a routine day. Unfortunately, I have no idea why that is the case. I would say that maybe that's because it could be because of the servers. I'm trying to get the best servers, but I live in Taiwan, and the problem is that the closest servers to Taiwan are unfortunately either Australia or the US as well, and I usually get pings of 200 to 250 milliseconds, which is pretty bad actually. So this could be explaining why the frames are that bad, but that's not always the reason, because sometimes I do have decent frames when the servers are also empty. And overall, I think that this is something that needs to be fixed, because it's not normal that despite having removed an entire planet and area in the game, and talking about Levski, of course, the frame rates is still that low. And it is especially disturbing when you are driving ground vehicles, or when you are also in a combat situation, because this is something that can make the difference between life and death, and it can get very frustrating for competitive players. And the next thing that I would like to talk about here are missions that are not updating, and this is something that is also very frustrating, especially since in Star Citizen 3.13 we are getting a brand new reputation system, or at least an updated reputation system that is mostly taking into consideration combat missions, right? And the problem is that when you are doing, for example, bounty hunting missions or combat missions, then sometimes you end up completing the mission, your target may have been taken care of, or all of the NPCs that you were supposed to kill have been killed, at least on your side, but the game is not updating the status of the mission, and this leaves you sometimes stuck for 10, 20, 30 minutes without any other progress. And there is no option, if you want to be doing anything else in the verse, you have no option but to either log out and change the servers, or to cancel the missions, which is in either case going to have a negative impact on your reputation, while it is actually not your fault. And this is definitely something that should not be happening. Again, I believe that this is perhaps due to desync or information that is not being transmitted from the client to the server and back and forth. And I think that again this shows that there are some improvements that need to be done with the servers. I have also had another problem that was quite similar, and this is the landing that was not acknowledged. Now this is another very interesting problem that is really also hindering your performance or your activities in the game, because the thing is that in Star Citizen, if you want your landing to be saved, for example, let's say you are coming from planet A, which could be Hurston, and you're going to Port Olisar, which is pretty far, right? Every time you are going to come back, if your landing is not acknowledged, you are going to respawn at the planet at Hurston instead of respawning at Port Olisar, which is where you wanted to go. And for that, you need to have a message, landing complete, for that landing to be acknowledged. And every time I do that, guys, every time I try to land, I try to do that at several stations. I try to do that, for for example, at Everest Harbor. I tried to do that at Crusader Air 1, and I tried to do that at Port Olisar. Every time I landed at those places, my landing was never acknowledged, and I always respond at Lorville. This is also something that needs to be fixed, because it's very frustrating to travel long distances. You know, traveling between planets takes time. It can take up to 5 minutes, even longer if you have a ship that is not equipped with a proper content drive, and especially if you want to have specific types of gameplay, or your missions take you to these specific areas, then you are going to have to travel the way all over again. It is very annoying. So I thought about a possible workaround. I thought, oh, maybe I would be logging out, which is exactly what I did last time. Instead of landing, because it just didn't work, I just logged out in my ship right next to the station where I wanted to go. But unfortunately, when I respawned during my next session, then I did not respawn where I was right next to the station. I respawned right next to the Stanton Sun, right in the middle of the star system, which is an old bug that has been happening for, I would say, maybe years, right? Because I remember back in the early 3.4s, 3.5s, that bug was already here. It has been years since this bug has not been fixed, and unfortunately it is still plaguing our experience in Star Citizen of 3.13. Now, of course, all of this leads us to the big elephant in the room, which is desync, which unfortunately remains a major issue, at least here in the PTU of Star Citizen of 3.13. Desync was already plaguing our experience in 3.12. I'm thinking especially the multiplayer experience, where people could not play together in groups without experiencing ships that would no longer function, or being ejected out of ships, or not seeing the people around them as well, right? But this seems to be affecting the game world if you are playing in solo too, which is why it really does appear that this thing seems to be getting worse and worse, at least on my end here, coming from someone who lives far from any of the servers available for Star Citizen. But it does appear that it also appears to be also affecting players who live in different regions but do play together in the same server as well. So I don't know how CIG is planning to fix that. Perhaps we are going to really desperately need server meshing, so that technology is going to put everybody together via the meshing of systems of different regions, which is going to be the goal in the near future. But in the meantime, I'm afraid that Star Citizen 3.13 is just going to be another of these patches that is going to herald difficult times for players from all over the world. So that's it, guys. This is what needs to change in Star Citizen 3.13. The frame rates, which are not so great, the missions are not updating, landing being not acknowledged and reduces or hinders our progress, logging out, which brings us back to the sensing system, and desync as well. But let me know in the comments down below, guys. This is the giveaway question. Which problem do you think needs to be fixed the most? I'm not talking about the star map here. We're talking about some of the much bigger critical issues that may be game breaking. Let me know in the comments down below. That's all for this video, guys. I hope that we'll have a new patch in the PTU tomorrow, so that we can report on it and talk about it. In the meantime, I've been the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later. This video is brought to you by the people who support this channel on Patreon and via the join button as well. Supporters of the channel get access to lots of cool perks, such as access to my private Discord, your question answered in the show, you get to know when I'm going to play, and also you get to have a chance to influence the editorial line of the channel. Any help is appreciated, starts at just $1 a month. Thank you very much for watching. This is the Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later.